morning, sir. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Brian Johnson, 513276.
All right, good morning, Mr. Johnson. Let me read some information record, and then we'll get started with your parole interview.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Johnson, you're classified as a second felony offender. You're currently serving a 30-year sentence as a habitual offender for distribution of marijuana. And then you have an attempted possession of firearm by convicted felon. Your parole eligibility date was in August of 2016, and you have a good time date, which is February 20th, 2038. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Your case has been assigned to Mrs. Jackson, seated to my right. Would you answer her questions?
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm fine. I'm making it.
Okay. All right. How old are you?
I'm 38.
And how much time have you actually served on this charge?
14 years.
So you went in at age 24.
Yes, ma'am.
You're classified as a second offender. You had a prior arrest and conviction for possession of cocaine, Xanax, for Zapinate, and you got revoked because of the charges that you're here for now. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Why do you think you weren't successful when you were placed on probation?
Probably most likely because of the lack of consciousness, not really giving things any thought, just living and being young.
Not taking it seriously.
Yes, ma'am, pretty much.
So when did you start your drug enterprise? How'd you get into drug dealing? Why?
I got into drugs probably because of poverty. The first time that I can remember, I believe I wanted a pair of shoes when I was playing basketball. And I ended up asking my mom to get a pair, and I couldn't get them, couldn't afford them. And I believe right after that incident, I made a decision to pretty much start getting involved with drugs, selling them. So I would say probably poverty.
So how old were you?
I had to be about maybe 13.
As a 13-year-old, then who gets a 13-year-old involved in drug dealing? Who in your life got you involved in drug dealing?
Maybe what I seen, neighborhood environment, maybe. Looking for a quick way to make money.
You go to someone and say, I want to hustle, or did somebody come to you? How did that happen?
Well, I pretty much had to go to them. I don't think someone came to me. It was a decision that I had to make by observing and seeing, seeing things. So, not really knowing, but just seeing, wanting to be involved, I guess, knowing, okay, this is a quick way to make money. That's pretty much how it started with me. I don't know how it probably started with, anyone else, but that was my situation. As far as I can reflect when I think, when I think back on the question, that's what got me involved.
Where did you grow up?
Slidell.
Slidell?
Yeah, Slidell, Louisiana.
How far did you go in school?
I ended up recently getting my high set.
How far did you go in school when you were not incarcerated?
Made high school, 8th grade, 9th grade.
And how did you end up dropping out in the 9th grade?
Incarceration, end up going to jail as a juvenile, end up serving a little time. And that was how I got out of high school.
How long were you in juvenile custody?
3 years.
Did you have GED in juvenile facility?
I ended up taking I ended up taking a GED. I ended up getting it, but for some reason it wasn't found on the records. So when I came here, I had
Get it when you were in the juvenile facility.
yes, ma'am. I ended up taking a GED when I was in a detention center in Scotland. But like I said, when I came here and we go through the process of pulling up the paperwork, couldn't find it. So I had to actually redo my tapes, retake the tests, and I had to go through that process all over again because they said they couldn't find it at the educational department.
And you got your high set.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your high set?
Excuse me?
When did you get your high set?
Oh, I got it here at Allen. Since I've been here.
Recently?
Yes, ma'am.
1522.
So you got it last year.
Yes, ma'am.
Back in August of 22, I think you were denied.
Yes, ma'am.
And one of the reasons was that you needed more programs. And you were denied on August the 9th of 2022. So since that date, have you taken any additional programs?
Yes, ma'am.
What have
Since
you
then,
taken since then? Yes, since then.
yes, ma'am. Since then, I believe I got about 25 certificates, I believe. I've been involved heavily with NAAA. I ended up completing the small engine course. I'm a certified technician. I know last time that a man who sat on the panel, he said he would like me to complete that. I'm in Tyros, I'm in Life Inner Circle, I'm in Boys to Men. So I have a few certificate of a Bible correspondence course that I've been taking. So, there's a lot of things that I've been doing and that I'm still active with, because like I said, during the last meeting, it was 2 things that actually stuck out to me, as far as I had a recommendation to better myself. So, I try to improve and do that. I was asked to get involved with a few more classes. I did that. And I've pretty much been trying to better myself as a person. So, everything that they pretty much asked, I try to apply myself and do. And that's pretty much what I got. I'm pretty sure y'all have the portfolio, you see what I did. So, that's all I can do.
Yes, what programs have you taken since your last denial that you think have helped you most to become a better person?
What helped me most, like I say, is NAAA.
Why is that?
Because last time, the man asked me a question. He had asked me, did I think about the effect that me selling had on the community? And as I told him, that was the first time that I really, gave thought to that question, and leaving that, getting involved with NAAA, I didn't just go to it to actually get the certificate, but I went there to look at things from the eyes of an addict, opposed to just looking at things from the eyes of a hustler. Because pretty much, like I say, I never really had a problem with substance abuse. But to sit there and listen to people's story that, you know, really struggle with it, and knowing that I contributed to that in some manner, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was indirectly or directly, you know, and when that question was asked to me, it took me back to a time, like I say, you know, way back when I was 13, when I first got involved with drugs. So, you know, actually going through that, it really do have a therapeutic value to, you know, actually listening to people and hearing their stories. So, you know, I became a chairman. I became more involved, you know, ain't miss a beat, you know, and I actually, you know, I embrace a lot of the dudes and I actually help them because like, you know, they had this thing to where they look at, you know, hustlers per se, you know, saying that we don't care, you know, and they think that we just want their money. And I think it's a misconception, you know, so, you know, being involved with it, just hearing the stories, a lot that go on inside the NA more than just working the steps and things like that. But, you know, you hear some stories and it was profound to me more than, you know, getting a certification, being a technician with the small engines, you know, but that right there is something that I'm really heavily involved in, you know, every Sunday, you know, and like I said, outside that we have meetings trying to find a way to advance the group. And it gave me a sense of, it gave me a sense of some type of value of just being a part of something that's significant in the lives of, you know, inmates, you know what I'm saying? Dudes that's really going through something, you know, that's something that we do, you know, outside of security, you know, that's like our little thing. That's our group, you know, it's the full motion group. And even, you know, in the event that I leave, it's something that I still want to be a part of. It's something that I know I can take into society and I can use it, you know, I can bring value, you know what I'm saying, to situations that, you know, I contributed to for so many years, you know, and it's just something that, you know, I look forward to doing. But that's the most significant thing that I think I got involved with after the last hearing.
So tell me what your goals are.
What
are
are
your
my goals? One of my goals is to never come back to prison again. You know, put obstacles in front of me that I really don't have to. Another one of my goals is, you know, to tighten up my family structure, you know, because I have a big family. I have a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters. I have a daughter, you know, I'm a grandfather now. And I want to live and use my life experiences of the things that I've been through and try to turn my negative to a positive, you know, and like I say, that's the two of my smallest goals. But like I say, you know, I want to go home and actually be successful, you know, do things the right way, you know.
What would success look like for you?
Success to me would look like me being a family man, getting structure inside my family, you know, helping them advance their life. That way they don't have to make some of the decisions that I did. Actually showing them a way.
Stop you right there. While that's admirable that you want to do that, but if you take on other people's burdens, you know, then you may find that it's dragging you back down, putting more stress and weight on you than you need. You can be an example to someone, but can't, you know, change them. Just as all those times in the past, you know, it took you spending this time to change you and work on you. But you need to understand that you can't get out savior complex, because that's going to lead to some pitfalls.
Yeah, and I'm not naive to that. And like I said, that's kind of one of the pages that, you know, I take from NAA. I'm not saying that I got to be the one that carry the load and put the burden on my shoulder and help everybody or be some type of savior, because, you know, I understand, you know, even through NAA, it's some of the people that struggle that, you know, it seems like, you know, they may be hopeless or that you can't help them, but I don't give up on them. And I also know I have to have a group like I say, not just on myself, like my supporting cast, same way how people supported me for years, they got people that know things that I don't know. So as far as my collaboration and the circle that I build, with the people that I put around me, they can help me with ideas. I'm not saying that I have all the answers on how to help my family, but I'm pretty sure if I get in connection with the people and I can explain, what I'm going through and what's going on, they can give me input and advice and point me in a direction. But I'm not saying I'm the savior. I'm not saying I'm Jesus Christ or nothing, but I'm saying that I'm willing to take the challenge. I'm willing to step up to the plate and sit down and talk to see what somebody going through. That way, if I could help them or give them advice, then maybe I can point them in the right direction, because that's all I needed. Somebody to just point me in the right direction. I didn't need nobody to make me do certain things. I had to come around in my own mindset to realize that I want better for myself. So, that's just how I look at it. I'm not saying I got to go, because all my life, like you say, I wanted to do things my way. And like I said, my way ain't always the right way, but just being willing to step up to the plate. Like I say, sometimes that's all it takes. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I look at it.
Let me ask you this, what's your transition plan? Let's just say you were successful and you were released. Where would you live? Where would you work? Tell me step by step, because I'm sure you've thought about it. How you gonna get you around?
Like I say, for one, I take it slow. As far as for residence, where would I stay? I have my girlfriend, same residence plan that I had last time. And I have my mother, she's always welcomed me home. So, that's two places that I have as far as for a place to stay as soon as I get out. As far as for work, I submitted a few job agreement forms. I have a brother, he's second in command at FedEx. He planned on buying his own. I have employment there. I have employment, with my uncle. He submitted, he have a few food trucks that he run. So, I have that. And like I say, as far as for the Northside Vision LLCs, that was for my father. On my last hearing, he ended up speaking. And like I say, he ended up passing February 25th. So that company actually come to me. So, I'm gonna pretty much have me two jobs. I'm gonna run that LLCs. So as far as for, that's just something that I actually be able to do straight out the chute. Now,
What about the small engine? What about the small engine skill? How would you use it?
and that's a third, so like I have options, I'm a certified technician now. So like I said, I can pretty much, pull up pretty much anywhere, as far as for putting that in my resume. So like I said, I have options, and I know, work is plentiful. So like I said, I had a heart of the hustle. So can't see me not working. But like I said, with the consciousness to understand, like, I have options, I have opportunities, you know what I'm saying? So that's not really a problem for me. So I have somewhere to go. I'm pretty sure I can find work, I don't mind working. So like I say, that's two things that, I'm not really concerned about.
I'm gonna ask you a question, one last question, might sound a little strange to you, but do you think the last 14 years been the best thing that ever happened to you?
And do I think the last 14 years was the best thing that ever happened to me? That's the question. Like I say, to be honest, in a way, like I said, I know it's all about perception, but in a way I do. I do feel like it was one of the best things that could have happened to me, because like I say, without this, I don't think I'd be where I'm at today. I don't think, even with the last hearing, what I'm saying, 10 months ago, I don't think that the consciousness that I have now, what I'm saying, and the influence that I know that I have now, what I'm saying, had I not went through what I went through, I probably wouldn't see things the way that I see them today. So like I say, that's part of taking my negative and turning it to a positive. So like I say, I'm not, I could say that I'm grateful, what I'm saying, even for the negative that did happen in my life, And that's just how it is. But yes, I do think, it have a profound and significant effect on me.
Ordinance, can you tell us anything about Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am. I really believe Attorney Johnson has been doing a pretty good job here at Allen Correctional Center. He's been applying himself. He's completed and engaged in a lot of classes to benefit himself, to help himself. He's currently living in our veteran incarcerated tier, which is a very, very highly respected tier where he's currently actually living at. He's surrounded by a lot of, guys that support him and help him out. And that's a plus. But he's doing really good.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Renata. That's all I have. Thank you.
Let's hear from your girlfriend, Ms. Desha Wise. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your first name.
Yeah, D-Shay.
Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to say that Bryan definitely has changed in the last 3 years, and being denied, I think, made a big impact on him and made him see that he could be better, do better. Being a grandparent and losing his father, he just wants more out of life than what he did before, and he does have job security when he comes home and places to live. So, and then like the NAA meetings, hearing from other inmates saying that he helped him, I think that if you give him the opportunity, that he will never come back to prison at all. And he has the support of his family. So we will make sure that does not happen also. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Plan for him to live at your residence?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have that address, but we do have an indication that maybe your property manager may have an issue with that. Have you spoken to the property manager?
I did speak to her. We already addressed that. And he is allowed to come here, and like if they parole hearing have an issue with it, he's also allowed to go to his mother. So either way, he'll be at my house or his mom's house.
I just want to be sure you were aware of that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, anything you want to say to us?
I thank y'all for the experience, not just this time, but the last time. And like I say, for the most part, like I said, it had a profound effect on me. I don't really, I embrace it all, and I mean, I thank y'all, I thank you.
Okay. All right, we're prepared to vote. Mrs. Jackson will be voting first.
All right, Mr. Johnson, one of the things that just kind of breaks my heart a lot is when I see someone like you who is white, who has a lot of potential, but for whatever reason, that potential is not realized, that it gets squandered for a lot of reasons. Some in control, and some beyond the control. But it's always heartbreaking to see, the last 14 years could have been an upward trajectory to have done a lot of things in your life. Because you do have intellect and insight to have been successful at anything that you put in mind to. But it took these last 14 years to pull that out of you. I think you expressed yourself very well today. I think you have a lot of self-awareness. I think you have grown. And I was very pleased to hear that you didn't take your denial as an excuse to, give up or get into trouble, but you took it to heart. And so my vote today would be to grant your early release. It's a long time, and there's a lot difference between a 38-year-old and a 24-year-old, and display growth and maturity. So my vote would be to grant. I would add a condition of your parole. that you attend meetings, 2 AA or NA meetings per week. For the duration of your supervision. And that you perform at least 4 hours of community service for in your community. Hopefully with at-risk youth, for 4 hours of community service. Mrs. Weiss?
Mr. Johnson, I just want to appreciate you. I know it was hard for you to say on the World Wide Web that Department of Corrections did good by you. I know it's hard to say, but you got it out. You got it out because you did. And I want you to know the people of Louisiana tax dollars, that's what they expect us to do.
Right.
I don't know why it's a big secret, but we expect for you to come in one way and go out the way you presented yourself today. And I wish you, my vote is to grant for the reasons already stated on the record. What is the name of your father's LLC?
Northside Visions.
Northside Visions? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that is my vote. I concur.
All right, Mr. Johnson, I saw you back in August of 22, and I think at that time I may have said, at least I put in my notes in the record, that I think you turned the corner. At
Yes,
that
ma'am.
time, just enrolled in vocational skills training. So I agree with my colleagues. My vote today also is to grant. You did really well today, and I like your attitude. So I think you'll do well. Good luck to you, sir. You've been granted parole.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Mhm.